Welcome to the Into the 99 podcast, where we got 99 cards because Commander is number one. I am your hostess with the mostest, Necrozach, and joined, as always, by my beautiful, wonderful, amazing two co-hosts and Brian.
Ooh!
I'm just kidding, Brian.
I thought you were
Brian's
going to say you're joined by your beautiful, wonderful hetero life mate, Brian.
He is. We spend a lot of time together. I vibe with Brian super hard. He's a good guy. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about ruining
today's
people's
episode,
lives.
Brian.
We're here to talk about
Is
ruining
this an
people's
intervention?
lives and,
Yeah, today's episode, Brian. Guys, stop bullying him.
Here's the thing.
He doesn't like to die every game first.
hashtag-
We're here to talk about cultivating your play group. Find yourself a guy named Brian.
and kill him first every time.
There's always
Everyone
one.
needs-
It'll bring your play group closer together.
Yep. We always know where the die is going to roll. It's Brian.
Hope, what are we actually talking about today?
Baby's first Stax deck.
Yeah, so
I'm
take it
very
away.
I'm very excited. This is actually one of my decks, and it is the commander that I was the most excited to build out of all of Commander Legends. It's Bant Dragon. It's Amareth, which is pretty toit. So before I get into the theme of the deck, I wanted to talk about what the dragon actually does. So it's Amareth the Lustrous.
Very lustrous.
Very lustrous. Especially on
The
that
Aurora
sweet
Yeah, the Aurora Borealis back there.
on that sweet edge foil. Get out of town. So it's 3 colorless and Bant, so green, white, blue. For a 6/6 dragon with flying, whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with that permanent, you may reveal that card and put it in your hand. So when I saw this, the first thing that came to my mind was building an Enchantress deck. I don't know why. I was just like, it's happening.
Just seemed like what you need.
I'm like, I love dragons, and I don't have an Enchantress deck, so
Enchantments
was
are so
just
much
kind-
fun.
I know.
It makes sense though, right? Because like when I think Enchantress, I think Bant.
Bant.
It just seems to be the best colors for it.
Bant enchantments.
Yeah, Enchantments. Literally,
Well, let's talk about that ability really quickly before we go on. It is really, really strong if you
Mhm.
have any way to manipulate the top deck or control it.
Mhm.
But just even having the knowledge of what is on top is
Mhm.
very important. So even if you're hitting a land, you know, okay, there's an enchantment up top, so I'll play an enchantment. I get to draw another enchantment. It is a really strong ability, and it's a really unique ability. It kind of functions a little like Kodama's ability of any permanent entering, but not putting things in, more of drawing, refilling your hand. And that's one of the best things you can do in Commander, right? We say draw as king all the time.
Yep.
well, and especially to note that it's any permanent, it's not non-land permanent. So you play a land, you get to essentially scry, and if you know what's coming up next, if you know that it's an enchantment, exactly, then you play it. If you know that it's what's it called? No, like not a permanent, like if it's like a
A
sorcery.
creature or a spell or something, yeah.
Well, a creature's a permanent.
Like I can see
but-
Mirari's Wake being really good in this because it allows you to customize the top, so you're always.
Oh,
like, I
you
play an
mean
enchant-
Miri's?
Yeah, Mirari's Guile. Sorry.
Yeah, Mirari's Wake, very different
Yeah.
I'm
card,
like
Brian.
very different, very good, but not.
Yes,
Could
not-
you
no,
imagine
sorry.
if Mirari's Wake also let you have the
that
Sylvan
card would
Library
be
effect?
$200.
Oof, I'd use it so much.
I have so many of them. I'd be super happy.
Oh my god!
But yeah,
Mirari's
Mirari's
is
Guile,
solid, but
so
you
good.
never see it anywhere.
Mhm.
We should get open Mirari's Guile. Very quiet lull. So anyways, Hope, theme of the deck, go.
So it's baby stacks. So it's not like it's just gentle stacks. I'm not like directly bothering people too much. I'm not directly interacting with people's creatures or permanents all that much and trying to slow them down or anything. I'm
Are you
mostly
running
just
stasis?
no.
All right, so you're good.
So I'm fine.
Winter Orb?
No winter orb, no torpor orb, no stasis.
See,
Okay,
baby
I'm
stacks.
I'm fine.
Well- what more could you want?
Yeah, exactly. Stop complaining. But no, it's Daniel does not like this deck very much. Well, sorry, that's not true. Daniel
got
likes the deck.
wrecked
He
by
does
this
not
deck.
like playing against it.
Well, I
No,
remember
do. I just
the
got wrecked by it.
one game. I think it was
But-
like when you first made this deck. I think you
Yeah.
stopped Daniel from winning with just a single card.
I did. It was very funny. Sometimes it's not about winning, Brian. It's about ruining the game for Daniel. And
I would
Sometimes
100% agree.
Sometimes taking away someone else's win is just as important.
I wholeheartedly agree. So the theme of the deck, more than anything, it's almost like I'm building a castle, and I am a dragon that has taken over this castle and eaten everybody inside, and now
Nom,
nobody
nom,
can
nom.
get in. And I'm just getting stronger by the day, and nobody can get in my castle. And then one day I just open the doors, and everybody dies. Like, it's very very conceptual, very
What a
high
mood.
concept magic.
Next week's
That was-
episode, therapy.
Next week's episode, Hope has she had to go. She really had to go.
No, I actually really like that concept of, like you said, you're defending yourself until it's time to come and show everyone what's good.
Yeah, it's less of me, like I said, directly interacting with you and making things difficult in classic Stax fashion. It's more of like, you can try to attack me, but it's gonna cost you 14 mana to swing, and also I can prevent all the damage. So, like, is that worth it? And then if your thing taps, then you can't untap it, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's
So it's
it's
like a
just like
pillow
not
fort.
worth it. Kinda, yeah.
So let's start with the easiest thing to start in the deck, the Planeswalker. Every Bant enchantment deck should run Estrid.
10 out of 10.
No
Mhm.
exceptions. Estrid is the best Planeswalker for enchantments. Calyx is pretty good, but he's hit or miss kind of.
Also, arguably the best planeswalker out of those 2018 decks.
Yeah,
So,
Estrid slaps.
yeah, Estrid does slap.
I
Esper-
never run her. Meh.
Oh,
Oh, she's so
Yeah.
good. She
you
just
but you don't really
makes
play Bant very
enchantments.
much, Brian.
No. I
You
only
play
got 2 lane.
Selesnya. Yeah, it has that pesky blue in it for you.
Yeah.
How pissed.
I try not to play blue because you know that I instantly slot in Cyclonic Rift. So I'm trying to save you some pain, Daniel.
That's true. Estrid is one. I was going to say red, but no. 1 green, white, blue for a 3 loyalty starting planeswalker. +2 untap each enchanted permanent you control, which is very good. -1 creates a mask enchantment with totem armor, and you can put it on any of your permanents. And totem armor, for anyone who's unaware, is if it would be destroyed, you destroy that instance of totem armor instead. So they stack. You can have 7 things on it, and you'd have to destroy it 7 times, like some weird Horcrux situation.
Very real.
Yeah. And then the -7 is put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard, return all non-aura enchantments to the battle from your graveyard to the battlefield, then do the same with auras. And the reason it's slotted that way is so that you can put the auras onto things. Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's very neat, burrito.
And Estrid can be your commander.
Yes, she's not. But
well, really quickly, sorry, before you go into, I was going to say Estrid could pretty easily switch out with
yeah, obviously.
Amareth. Yeah.
But,
Like you could have a similar deck style, but I think Amareth,
yeah, I say Amareth.
would be the stronger one for this. Obviously, you built it to be that way.
I
but
did, and there's also like some emphasis on commander damage, because I don't know if you know this, but I like to swing. So I like one of my favorite things in Magic is combat
and
which-
dragons,
which
This
is
was meant
something
for you.
that a lot of people don't like is combat. 'Cause combat's there's too much at stake in combat.
It
But
makes you a
combat, I
bully.
think, it's the best way to lose the game. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't really like to see. All right, so I Staff of Domination. I'll untap Priest of Titania and Elvish Archdruid. Like
Mhm.
people don't really like to see that kind of a win.
Yeah.
They like to be like, all right, I hit you with 25 damage of angels, and you're like, you've got me, good game.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt the same way. It's like if somebody mills you out, and like that sucks. You know, if somebody hits you with 400 damage, like, all right.
I will sneak attack in my Blightsteel Colossus, and Warstorm Surge will kill the table. Any responses?
Yeah, right. Like that's the kind of vibe. Like whereas with combat, like more often than not, like you've kind of let it get away from you, like their board state. Like
Yeah.
if there's nothing you can do about it, like creatures are creatures, man. Like if you can't block it, and if you let them get to that point, like it's just as much on you as it is on them.
Run board wipes. Play Nevinyrral.
Yeah, don't.
Ugh,
Do it.
don't.
Oh,
So
I hate 'em.
Awful.
So Hope, choose a category and start us off.
I'm gonna start with the artifacts because they're not super exciting, and they're gonna be quick. So it's pretty much just mana ramp. With the except, there's no soul ring, there's no arcane signet, because I pulled exactly what I wanted out of a pile of stuff from Commander Legends, and there was no signet in it.
Is
So,
this Darksteel Ingot The actual one you're using?
No,
Not yet.
they're not released yet, but I would love to slot it in.
Okay, because I saw this. I was like, what is this?
You're like, wow. No, that secret lair, it's not.
Not shipped yet.
No. So I've got a Horn of Greed, which what was that? So I've got a Horn of Greed, which is whenever a player plays a land, that player draws a card. Play a little group hug. And the only other really notable enchantment, in my opinion, is the Norn's Annex. Artifact is the Norn's Annex. So it's 3 and 2 Phyrexian mana, like Phyrexian white mana, mind you. If anyone's not familiar, Phyrexian mana can be played with the color or with 2 life per. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 white Phyrexian mana for each of those creatures.
I've been looking for this.
A really fun thing to note with
It's
this
us.
is that if you have a way to go to people, they do have to pay the life. They will have to attack if they need to attack someone with it.
Mhm.
It's not an option.
That's
Just mean.
amazing. I want to get this card now. I think I saw it on a couple like enchantment lists or like
Mhm.
Staxy lists, but I keep forgetting to actually like write it down to pick it up.
Straight
What's
up,
super
Annex is so good.
Yeah.
What's
Phyrexian-
super nice too is it came in mystery booster, so you can get it in foil.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Ew.
Me and Hope are just talking. The mystery booster things just don't even count. There's so much of it.
Yeah. Like things that were reprinted in mystery, I'm just like, yep, it was, but like, man, like the sheer amount of cards that were printed in mystery is ridiculous.
You're pretty light on the other ones. I'll get.
Yeah, I want to do enchantments closer to last.
Yeah. So Zach, you want to quickly burn through her sorceries here?
Light them
Sure.
on fire, Zach.
Austere command for white sorcery. Choose to destroy artifacts or enchantments, or creature cards with CMC 3 or less, or creature cards with CMC 4 or greater. Collective Voyage. It's a join forces card for 1 green. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player searches his or her library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the total amount of mana paid this way. Puts them on the
Going for
battlefield
a
tab,
ride.
then shuffles his or her library. Cultivate. We're just ramping. And a card I'm super excited to see in this list is Replenish.
rules.
It's so good. I just wish it wasn't so expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
very-
a sorcery for 3 and white. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play.
Love it.
Yeah, replenish rules.
So
I
cool.
really wanted to say as well, Collective Voyage is a trap. Pretty much
It
never pay
is.
into it. I play Collective Voyage in a lot of decks, and a lot of people think that I'm just group hug ramping. You
Nope.
always are going to play it in decks that are going to be drawing you just a ton of cards or have mana sinks.
Mm.
Do not ever buy into it because they are going to outvalue it. They're not doing it for fun. They're doing it because they're going to be drawing a ton of cards, or they can mana sink, like Kenrith plays Collective Voyage and stuff. So sure, you have 6, but now Kenrith is sitting there spamming his ability.
Well,
And
for
that's
reference,
same-
also, same can be said for Tempt with Discovery. Just
Yep.
don't be tempted. Just
Always be
don't.
tempted.
Nope.
Just don't.
never.
It's never worth it.
I always
Because
fall
if
into
they're
the
doing
trap.
it, it's because they're getting lands that matter.
It's such a
It's
tempting
if
offer.
if all of you do it, if you're playing in a pod, you got 4 people, then they get 4 lands, and they're getting their Field of the Dead, their Vesuva, their Dark Depths.
Yeah, people are usually
Just don't
not,
do it.
they're usually not just going to grab 4 forests.
Just don't do it.
Oh, you mean you can get any land and not just a basic?
Would tempt it with Discovery. Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Expedition map all over again.
My favorite is when everyone's like, "Oh yeah, well, we'll just go get strip mines," and I'm like, "Interesting. I will go get strip mines." I've had people like threaten that before, and then I also go get strip mine and wastelands and stuff like that, and I just blow their lands up.
What a mood and a half.
Test me.
That's something.
Do you want to also quickly just go through the instance fast there, Zach? There.
Sure. We have Blunt the Assault, 3 and a green for an instant. You gain 1 life for each creature on the battlefield. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn.
Love it.
Dissolve, counter target spell, scry 1, engulf the shores. I love this card. It's an instant. It's an instant for 3 and a blue. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control.
Yeah, that's a good
right,
one.
That's a baby
Right.
Cycrypt also.
Yeah,
Yes,
I need to. I must get it now.
I feel like it's not a nearly as feel bad card.
No, it's not.
Right control is just like Blunt the Assault. And second Sunrise, 1 white for an instant. Each player returns to play all artifact, creature, enchantment, and land cards that were put into his or her graveyard from play this turn.
Second Sunrise has tilted me so many times. I finally get like a good Like, you finally blow something up like us to your command. We get rid of all the enchantments and all the creatures, and we're like, all right, we're back to a good spot. And for 3 mana, they're like, psych,
Psych.
So-
without the rift.
Question. Let's say you move to end step, right? And you're in the cleanup phase and you discard a bunch of cards. Can you second Sunrise at the end of your turn?
It's only they were from play, so they have to have come from the battlefield.
Oh, okay. I
I
just
wish
read the card.
we could just power discard.
Yeah, well, that's second Sunrise again, just on theme. It's just kind of like a baby replenish also.
Yeah.
So
At instant speed.
Those are like two of the cards. As soon as I saw them in the deck, I was really excited because I love them. I don't play them
I love
mainly because I don't
Sunrise.
have them. But
Yeah,
they're
I
very
haven't seen like I played during the Mirrodin slot. Like that was kind of like when I stopped playing again. Like, and I don't remember that card, but yeah, it's really good.
That is one of my white staples. I like to put it in as many decks as I can. I really, really like it in Orzhov sacrifice decks because I love to stack my whole field and bring it all back in one go.
yeah, it's very cool of you.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's what I like to do. So yeah, Hope, start into your
All right,
mighty creature list.
It is mighty because even though it's an enchantment deck, it still obviously is a creature deck because I just can't not. So
Baby stacks for a reason.
yeah, it's baby steps also. So the first creature on my list here is a Johnny's Chosen. So it's 2 white for a 3/3 cat soldier. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under my control, create a 2/2 white cat creature token. If the enchantment is an aura, I may attach it to the token, which is kind of neat. It's mostly so I can get an army of cats. So
Yeah, makes sense.
boots and cats, yes. Secondly, I have Arbiter of the Ideal, which is Sphinx. It's 4 blue for 4/5 with flying, and it has kind of a weird ability, which is inspired. Whenever Arbiter of the Ideal becomes untapped, reveal the top card of your library. If it's an artifact, creature, or land, you may put it onto the battlefield with a manifestation counter on it. That permanent is an enchantment in addition to its other types.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I
Super
much
slaps.
like.
Yeah. Brian starts to play blue.
What's this world coming to?
Well, it's not like a normal manifest where you like put it face down as a 2/2.
Well, it's not
right?
manifest, it's manifestation.
Yeah, I know. So like that's what I mean. A lot of those things. This basically is just like roulette of what's at the top of your deck.
Yeah.
I don't know if you run Soothsaying in this deck. I personally would run Soothsaying in this deck, so I could like.
I actually
hardcore.
literally just picked one up. Like I literally picked one up yesterday.
Yeah, because I would love to just like restack the top of my deck with things like this.
Yeah.
Because the ability to just dump permanents into play for free is so
for
fun.
reference to saying you can pay X and then reorganize the top X cards of your library.
I like that.
It's a 1 blue enchantment.
Yeah.
And it has a 5 mana shuffle your deck.
Yes, it does.
Yep. So good.
Oh,
Love it.
Again, I've never heard of that card. That
I love
great.
Soothsaying.
Oh, it's from my favorite set. It was also reprinted in Mystery Boosters.
Any deck that needs top deck manipulation, like Yanette really, really likes that card.
And even the original, and it's like super affordable. Like the original printing of Soothsaying is like $5, and the Mystery Booster is like $2.
Why don't you have a scroll rack in here?
Free. What?
Why don't you have a scroll rack in here? I just thought about that.
Didn't even think about it because you know why? It's because I don't usually have scroll racks.
Yeah,
just lay it around.
That is true.
Commander Legends has changed things.
Yeah,
but I've never just had scroll racks about.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Rack
but you know what I mean.
That's how I felt about rings and staffs. Like they
Yeah.
go in so many of my decks, and I was just like,
I keep forgetting Rings of Brighthearth was in Commander Legends.
Yeah, isn't that
until you just-
ridiculous? Isn't that ridiculous?
We need more snow-covered lands now.
That's
Call time.
Yeah.
It's a black metal set.
It is black metal. Like we'll get back to my deck in 1 second, but if you've seen the leaks for Call Time, literally the packs look like a gentle version of like a death metal band.
I'm so excited.
It's a little bit too legible for me, but it's pretty thick.
So excited.
All right.
Clever Impersonator, I love as a creature. 2 blue for a 0/0 shapeshifter. It can enter as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield, which is just an underplayed ability.
Yeah, well, Clever Impersonator. I remember the first time I ever saw a Clever Impersonator, I just for some reason assumed because it's a creature that I could only make creatures. That's just not true.
Yeah.
Make
Nope.
any permanent is ridiculous. Any
Yeah.
permanent on from anywhere. So
Mhm.
good.
Field of
Um,
the Dead.
And the next card is actually one that I really want to build also. I'm into it. So it's Eurtropia, the twice favored one in Simic for a 2/2 legendary human wizard with constellation. So whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying till the end of turn. So again, it just gives me more smashy ability, which
Yeah.
obviously I love.
I've been kind of looking at this as a commander as well because I do have like a really nice foil version of it, and I'm just like,
Oh, it does look good in foil.
Well,
Yeah.
especially if you get that at sweet extended art. Oh, messy.
yeah, like it would just that seems like a really fun commander to play.
Yeah.
The
So,
next is one of my favorite enchantment-based cards, Hannah Ship's Navigator.
mhm.
1 and Azorius, white blue, and it for the same cost and a tap, return target artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. It's very nice to be able to recur them that way. I just love everything about the card, love the lore, love it all.
Yeah. Well, and it is nice to have like that targeted returning of different like enchantments and whatnot. Even for something like, let's say, that Norn's Annex, which is like definitely does work
Mhm.
in my deck. Like if somebody gets rid of it, I can just be like, we're gonna bring it right on back there, bucko.
Having to pay life is brutal to attack,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
super nasty. It's
especially when you know that like you have, like we talked about earlier, the blunt the assault kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like whatever, I'm gonna win the game. I have my Crater Hoof out. I'll pay the 30 life. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
would
like
feel bad.
that. I like with Norn's Annex. I always play like Ghostly Prison and Sphere of Safety, so I'm like, okay, like if you want to attack me, you have to pay 17 mana. But can you
You'll
imagine?
be
You need to pay
delightfully
17 mana
surprised.
and 2 life.
Yeah, it's 17 mana per creature, 2 life.
Yeah.
Get it going.
Oh, you're gonna be thrilled, Brian.
I'm looking forward to it.
So the next one is mostly again because I
Smash.
have a creature problem. So it's Heliod, God of the Sun, OG Heliod, 3 and white for 5/6 legendary enchantment creature god. And again, enchantment, like I mean, it's still kind of on theme. So his devotion has to be 5 for him to be a creature. But the big reason that I have this is for the other creatures you control have vigilance.
Oh, I actually never really
and
read his ability fully before.
Yeah. Also, it
Mhm.
really lends to all the glitters, which is so
Oh
for
yeah.
2 and 2 white, put a 2/1 white cleric enchantment creature token onto the battlefield. So not only is he making bodies, he's also making more enchantments.
Well, that's also phenomenal as a mana sync with Amareth's ability, because
Yeah.
you're hitting creature and enchantment there, so you do have a chance of end step dumping in a pretty decent permanent. That's awesome. Like filling your hand back up.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
I know it's pretty it slaps.
I never knew that they were enchantment creatures. I just thought they
Yeah.
were 2/1 white clerics. I've always thought they were clerics.
I didn't
mean,
even
if you
realize
guys
they were
ever-
clerics.
If you guys ever read your cards,
Yeah,
then,
reading's hard hope.
man, reading
Theros is weird. They like just slapped enchantment on
on
so
everything.
many. Yeah, so much random stuff. Like, oh, here
This
you're
is
gonna
a land enchantment.
You're just like, hey,
Enchantment
sure,
land.
whatever.
At some point, I feel like we'll see enchantment lands because, like, we have artifact lands.
Yeah, I would.
That'd be awesome.
Wizards, get on it. I
Very
need it now.
Yeah.
Mark.
Mesa Enchantress is 1 white. Whenever you cast an enchantment, draw a card. Very interesting.
Oof.
Love it.
So,
She's a
I mean,
must
that's
in
just an
enchantment
auto
decks.
include.
Well,
yeah,
it's
so-
it was a joke when I was saying very interesting. It's the most basic thing that you put into, like, not all of them are going to run all of the draw every time. Like the Veduvian, is that what it is? Veduvian Enchantress?
Oh yeah,
Velduvian?
that's one of them.
Velduvian?
One of the green
Yeah,
ones.
like those ones like aren't as much, but like Mesa Enchantress is like a $1.50 card. Like you play it
Whatever.
if you're playing enchantments.
But I
Yeah.
think that green one is its power and toughness is equal to the amount of enchantments that you have in play. But this one and the other, what is it? I can't remember, but it allows that card draw. That sweet card draw.
Sweet.
Card draw is king. The next card is actually one of my favorite cards.
Me
because
too.
It gets out of hand.
And nobody is ever concerned about it.
Dean, Dean fondly called it Babar.
but it's a rhino.
Yeah, well, he still calls it Babar.
Does he know that Babar was an elephant?
Elephant.
I don't know. I haven't seen Babar in a long time.
Strange boy.
You can't remember your childhood?
Regardless, yeah, that was a long time ago.
This card has done work. I remember last time I played this deck back in the before times, I had about, I think, 40 something 4/4 rhinos. So it's Mirror Sigil Sergeant. So Mirror Sigil Sergeant is 5 and a white, which seems very expensive, but he's got trample and he's a 4/4. Past that, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a blue permanent, you may put a token into play that is a copy of Mirror Sigil Sergeant, which means on the first time you put in 1, second time you put in 2, third time you put in 4.
Wow.
Then
How have I
then-
not seen this?
He
Yeah.
goes hard.
It's disgusting.
Especially
It's
if
you have
Rhino
any
Scoot
doubling.
Swarm
Yeah.
Well, you don't even need doubling. It's because
because it's exponential.
it's not even that. You're sitting there playing annoying Stax things,
Yeah.
and then
Nobody can interact with it, and then when it's time,
yeah, it's very, very easy to like not pay attention to this. And I see many times when this is out, people saying, "When did you get 32 rhinos?
that was the exact same thing. That was exactly what happened with last time I played. So
How do you have 64 of those?"
yeah, so every single upkeep, I was like, okay, I'm gonna create my rhino. I'm gonna create 2 rhinos. I
I'm gonna
always
create
announce
4
because
rhinos.
because I don't want to like get to a point where like I'm in like a position where I can win the game, and it's because somebody didn't realize what I had.
I also
Yeah.
like to warn
So-
people.
Yeah, I like to fully announce things. So if somebody wants to respond, then they have every opportunity to do so. Like I don't want to win because you didn't notice a card or didn't fully understand it. You know what I mean? Like that's not
Yeah.
fair. Like that sounds like I'm full of myself, but it's not. But like you know what I mean? Like
It does feel bad if you're like, "When did that get out?"
yeah, and that's like I guess I lose. Like it sucks.
Get off your phones.
Yeah, so I listen to our episode on etiquette.
Daniel.
I announce things really aggressively, and literally at the end of the game, my buddy went to attack me and try to kill me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll block with rhinos," and he's like, "When did you get rhinos?" And I'm like 17 turns ago, my dude. Like
They've been here for so long.
they keep coming. Like I'm like the fact that you're trying, like
The fact that they're all 4/4 tramplers too is a big
It's
deal.
gross.
Now that's a stampede right there.
Yeah.
Am I right, buddy?
It's
Good
pretty rough.
Lord.
Yeah.
Noble Hierarch, I love the card. I love that the value of it has come down so much in recent years. For so long, it was like $100 card.
Yeah.
And-
So Noble Hierarch, it's a 1-drop. It taps for Bant, but it also has Exalted, which is kind of nice because often in this deck I'm swinging with nothing but Amareth.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bonus. The Oracle will die extra land every turn. You play the top card revealed. You can play
Very
lands from
important
top
in the
card of your
deck.
library. Yeah, it's the first little bit of top deck manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I'm a big fan of is
Buddy,
Progenitor Mimic.
take a break for
No.
a second. It's not auctioneer creatures.
Nah.
$5
Progenitor
right here.
Mimic is
$5.
the next one.
Do you have $5? Do you have $5? You got an Oracle Maldaya?
It's 4
Mine.
Simic, 0/0 shapeshifter again. You can have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has at the beginning of your upkeep. If that creature isn't a token, create a token. It's a copy of this creature.
Oh, we going off, boys.
Love it.
Yeah, this one's good.
That's
Then
pretty cool.
next card is Rush Me Eternity's Crafter. 2 green and a blue for a legendary creature, Elf Druid. 2/3. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal a top card of your library. If it's not a land card with CMC less than the spell, you may cast it without playing its mana cost. If you don't, you can put that card into your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of refilling from the top of your deck. Like obviously you refill your hand usually from the top of your deck, but a
Yeah,
lot of things
duh,
that
duh.
aren't specifically draw. So like we've seen a lot of
Yeah.
cards recently,
Well,
like Hull Breacher. Some animal in our play group built Leovold and stuff, right? Like you see a lot of these things that like people don't get to, like that punish you for draw, new Narset, any of those things. And the refilling your hand specifically without a draw, some animals playing Nekusar, you know?
Well, or even just like how popular Marlin got.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where you can't draw, or an Omen Machine, like any
Yeah.
of those things. Any of the things that are preventing you from drawing, or like a Notion Thief, an Alms Collector,
Yeah.
they're all.
well,
I'm not going to go. I'm not going to
this
go
is-
through what they all do. They all stop you from drawing.
This is nice too because you're going to get to play something for free because we're going to see what the top of our
I love free
library
spells.
is. So like if you know what you have on the top of your library, you can play a spell with lesser CM or with more CMC than that card to be able to actually get that card for free. So
Yeah.
it's fun. I like Rush Me.
Well, and that's the same sort of vibe like with the what's it called? Kodama.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you're not thinking about what you're like. It's the same sort of like.
You're getting the extra value.
Yeah,
off,
you're trying to figure out like I'm not playing what I want to play necessarily. I'm playing what I want to play so that I can play something else also.
You gotta be
3D
thinking like,
chess with yourself while everyone else is playing just normal person magic.
That's exactly what it is.
it's a good way of
Hopes
looking
8
at it.
stacks deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sakura Tribe Elder. I love it.
A classic boy, and also the goat. I love him.
He is a good.
He's a very good snake. Next we have Selesnya Selvala. Obviously,
The
love
best one.
it's one of
The
my favorite
best.
cards in all of Magic. Like
same.
it's one of my also silliest decks. Like I love putting Selvala down and people not knowing what I'm playing and then having just too much mana. I love
You
it.
guys have made me hate this card because there's nothing good you're doing with it. It's always bad for everyone.
When Hope was talking about the game that she ruined for me, I was playing Selvala and I got a turn 3 10 deep Gen Wave.
Oh, it was gross.
That hit like Admonition Angel, 4 lands, Safara, Avacyn. Like I hit a lot of gas, and then Hope just wrecked the game.
Yeah, all of those creatures coming into play tapped.
They all came into play tapped, then they all didn't untap, and it was hurtful to my soul.
Get better. So next we got Silent Arbiter. So it's 4 colorless for an artifact creature, 1/5. No more than one creature can attack each combat. No more than one creature can block each combat, which again, super sweet, especially when I'm just like decking out my my big boy Amareth.
Trying to make it huge.
My good boy.
Huge.
Next we have Starfield Mystic, which is 1 and a white for a 2/2 human cleric. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast.
So good. Enchantments needed a lord.
Right? And then whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Starfield Mystic, which I'm not like super concerned about. Like I'm not really worried about the counters on him or anything, but it is a nice little bonus if somebody gets rid of something.
The next card is the card that wrecked the game for me. It's Stoic Angel. It's 1 and Bant, and it is rough. It is a 3/4 flying vigilance angel. Players can't untap more than one creature during their untap step.
I only want to untap one anyways.
It's so cheap.
Yeah. It is a really, really good control card. Like it's a good body. The fact that it can still swing without interruption because it has vigilance on itself is good. And yeah, like if you're up against elves, just got like a huge amount of love with all the new stuff, right?
Yeah, because they needed it.
Yeah,
right.
But you're seeing a lot of like cards that function with those activated abilities, and just dropping this down just really stops that all. Becomes something that they have to actually deal with while you have a few turns.
I'm really surprised at how cheap this card is.
Yeah.
CMC wise,
like cost.
CMC wise, and the price of it. It is 79 cents.
It's kind of surprising to me. I feel like it should be 5 to have a 4/4 with
3/4.
Sorry, a 3/4 with those abilities. I'm surprised it's not 5 mana. But the price, I think it's strictly because it's so specific. Like it's 3 color. It's
I think what helped that too is the fact that it was reprinted, because this was another card that was from the Alara block, and a lot of those Alara block specific cards, if they've not been reprinted, are typically pretty expensive because they're just like very unique. They're in the shards, and that's one of the more popular 3 colors that we're ever going to play.
Yeah, and it's not like you can just have things that are like Bant or like Jund because it's specific to Alara, and like we have no good reason to go back to Alara right now.
Yet.
Well, we just don't.
That's true. Lore-wise, it doesn't add up.
It doesn't make any sense.
No matter how much we want it.
But this one was in Modern Masters, so.
The next one is one of my favorite cards for just recurring stuff. It's Sun Titan, 4 white.
Sun Titan is a real heckin' white staple.
I love Sun Titan. I love personally, being able to just hit a Terramorphic Expanse repeatedly. I'm a simple man.
Well,
Well,
like at the worst, right? Like at the worst, you're hitting a Terramorphic Expanse repeatedly. Like that rules.
we have a lot of permanents that this can bring back, especially as we go through the enchantments. There's a lot of things that Sun Titan can save from the grave.
Yep.
I love it. Tuvasa the Sunlit is just Bant for a 1/1 Merfolk Shaman. 1/1 for each enchantment you control, which should never be underestimated. And whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card.
Yeah, so this gives me that little bit of draw, and in addition to that, like again with those like clerics that are enchantments, and with making my things in my artifacts enchantments, and making everything like Tuvasa gets gnarly. Tuvasa
So-
is also a great potential commander for this kind of deck.
That's what I was gonna say. I know you probably didn't intend it that way because everything is just working very well. It's very synergetic. But I love when people build decks that have multiple variations that could be commanders. Because really, Estrid
I
would
have
work fine.
3.
Hope's designing precons.
I am designing precons. Well, I have 3 potential. Well, I mean, in all fairness, Tuvasa and Estrid are both in the same precon.
Yeah, but this is nothing like the Tuvasa.
No, it's not.
This
but
isn't
like,
your grandpa's Tuvasa deck.
But like, you could easily swap out Amareth for Estrid. You could easily swap out Amareth for Tuvasa and have a gay old time.
a very different game.
I've been finding myself building commander decks that way a lot more recently, where I've been building decks unintentionally with multiple variations for commanders that still work in the same way. I love it. I love because it, potentially makes the game different,
I personally never build that way. I'm like, simple brain, we're doing this. This is what we're doing.
I didn't realize that I build like that, but I definitely do. And I've noticed it more and more. Like if, like for like, I mean, I build decks for fun, but I also have to build decks for work. And
You have to.
Poor me. But I do have to build decks at work, and I notice that I do stuff like that and I think the reason that my deck building style has changed so much in that is because I'm thinking about like how would somebody else maybe like to play this, because if I think that this is great at the helm, fine, but what if we had other options?
Yeah, this isn't the creature that they specifically like. Well, especially with work, people just coming in. I don't build decks like this, but I do know a lot of people do. They say, I've got half the deck. I need 15 more cards for it. Can you build me this? Or, hey, I want a Narset. Build me a shell for Narset.
Yeah.
Right? So like you get
Don't ever do that. Don't do that for anyone.
I did.
You get a...
Felt good.
Well, you get to see a bunch of styles that you might not play when you're helping. And then even
That's
just pulling cards, like the amount of experience you would probably get being able to just like look at the list, see like, oh, like this is a really cool thing. I didn't know that this works with that. I think that it's definitely changed your building style to work at a game store.
Yeah.
Because I go in and I take a look at those
only half creatures.
What?
I said the deck's only half creatures, so it's definitely changed for you.
I know, I'm getting better. What were you saying, Brian?
Oh, I always go into the store and I'll take a look at those pre-con decks first, because like just being able to like buy one of those, and then because there's cards that are always put in that I don't even know. I haven't seen. There's way too many cards. So like I always like being pleasantly surprised and seeing a card that works great in a deck that I didn't build. Because then I can go, oh, and then just start building
myself.
myself.
Fun to find new cards.
Yeah. Finding new cards rules. I was literally like, that's been also like one of the greatest things about like my job. If I can just talk about how much I love my job for a sec, it rules. But like building binders for old sets. You know how many cool cards are in the Judgment block? So many.
Yep,
it rules. Oh my god.
Pull out that Urza Saga for me.
Yo.
I'm in that binder a lot.
Urza Saga was such a good set.
The Urza block was so good. Let's just take a second.
Anyways, let's finish the creature list. Yes.
Wow. The creature list is done, doggy.
It's not. We
got to Windborn Muse.
Yeah, Windborn Muse, 3 and a white, flying, 2/3 spirit. Creatures can attack unless their controller pays 2 for each creature that's attacking you.
Pretty sure that card put in work in that game too.
It often does.
Puts in work in every game. Oh, we didn't mention in your artifacts, I'm just seeing though, that you have a Thought Vessel as well. So you do have a way to keep your hand.
Oh, yes. Yes. Sorry. Yes. I just kind of like, what's it called?
Chalk it up to ramp.
Yes. That's the word I was looking for. Chalked.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, now start with your enchantment.
Finally onto the enchantments. Let's go into that bread and butter, baby. So we hell yeah, buddy. So we got one of my maybe my favorite card from Throne of Eldraine. So it's All That Glitters. 1 and a white for an enchantment or a enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets 1/1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control.
The art's great. The
Stop.
ability's great. The cost is great.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
I
It
can't
is-
believe this is an uncommon.
Thank you. This is a rare, doggy. This is a rare if I ever saw one.
It is a
Like-
very good card. It's a threat right off the bat.
If it was 2 more mana, it would be uncommon, but it's not.
It's pretty cheap for how much you
It's
can get.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just makes
Um,
your creature so big, so quick.
Its ability to hit mono white as well makes it go in so many different kind of decks. It's like they could have put it into like at least Azorius and kind of tried to shove it into one spot,
Or Celestia.
or even Boros because like the artifacts and everything like that.
Yeah.
But
Because
they're-
like equipment.
They're just like everything that has white deserves this effect.
Stop telling us
literally-
white sucks.
I literally just put this card in a deck last night.
It
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. Literally, Daniel and I took all of our boxes of Throne of Eldraine, like, and just rifled out all that glitters is. Like,
It's a solid card.
so good. So the next is is maybe my favorite card in the deck.
Yeah, I think you said it's put in the most work for
It
you.
has put in the most work without question in every single game I've played. And that is Authority of the Consoles. It is 1 white. It is my turn 1 play. It
Yep.
just mulligan till you get the Authority of the Consoles. But no, it's an enchantment for 1 white. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Hilarious. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. Extra hilarious.
No downsides.
Especially if somebody's playing a token deck. Top
Solid
tier.
card, yeah.
Top tier hilarity.
Well, or if they're doing like a recursion where they're killing a creature,
Or
and-
they're trying to gen wave on turn 3.
no, but like I'm just saying, if they're doing like a blood artist loop or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just keep I'm
you
like
just gain the
okay.
life, you just stay.
I'm
Alright.
just like nothing will happen to me, thank you.
Bounty of the Lux is the next card.
Yeah.
I hate keeping track of what it does.
It's like not that hard.
I'm again a simple boy, Hope. It's 2 green blue for an enchantment at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Remove all flood counters from Bounty of Luxa. If no flood counters were removed this way, put a flood counter on it and draw a card. Otherwise, add a colorless, specifically a colorless, and then 1 green, 1 blue.
Yeah. So if it has a counter, what's it called? If it has a counter on it, you take the counter off and you get some mana. If it doesn't have a counter on it, you put a counter on it and you draw a card.
Yeah, it's
It's just hard. It just reads weird.
Yeah, it's
No.
very, it's odd.
It's
It's
super
worded
wordy.
very oddly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just very wordy. They could have been like, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, if Bounty of Luxa has a counter on it, remove the counter and add this mana. If it doesn't have a counter on it, add a counter and draw a card. But instead, they're just like, let's make it super weird.
But
I'm like,
you can.
let's make it frustrating to read.
Right. I want to read this next card.
What,
Okay.
What, Big Cat?
Colossification. 5 green for an enchantment or a enchant creature. When Colossification enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +20/+20.
That's a big
This
creature.
is the
Real
this
subtle.
this is the Hopest of Hope cards. You have to alter it where it's just your face on the cat's body.
That would be hilarious.
But
I'll do it for you. That'll be the
not-
thumbnh for the episode.
please do. But like
That would
not
make me very happy.
not
Oh, you have
only-
to put Hope's face on Amareth.
not only do I love kitties, but also I love giving my creatures 20/20. I love a 1-hit vigilance flipping dragon commander kill.
Were you
Oh
trying to pick your words there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I was gonna say bad words. So that's how excited I am. But you know what's even more of a Hope thing to do?
The next card.
Copy it. Nah. So the next card is copy enchantment. So it's 2 and a blue. Copy enchantment comes into play. You may choose an enchantment in play. If you do, copy enchantment comes into play as a copy of that enchantment. Also, super wordy.
I also just have to say the most frustrated I've ever been in any game in my entire life was against one of my friends, Xavier.
Mhm.
And he did 2 things that hurt me deeply in this in this game. Number 1 is he played Emrakul
Top tier.
and took my turn.
Did he hard cast Emrakul?
Yes.
Hell
Or no,
yeah.
he used Yannette to cast it for free.
Nice.
So he used my unsummon to put my Animar back in my hand. Then he played my copy enchantment as nothing.
Wow.
He just put it down as a copy enchantment,
Because you may.
and it made me so angry that I don't have it in that deck anymore. Then he moved to end step and he discarded Animar.
The fact that it's a you may is top tier funny.
Even worse than that, it's my Animar deck is Eldrazi. So not only did he discard that, he discarded Ulamog and shuffled them both back into my deck.
He is an icon.
Amazing.
He's an absolute icon. That boy is a
I-
top tier mad lad. We love him.
I wish I could say in good faith that I had great sportsmanship about that. I was pretty
I know
angry.
he didn't.
I was pretty angry.
I remember that.
He got targeted for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I don't think he played with us for a while after that.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
You're a bad
Xavier,
person.
I'm sorry.
Xavier, I love your face.
The next is Deafening Silence. 1 white. Each player can't cast more than 1 non-creature spell each turn.
Get zucked. Declaration of Not, which is blue. As it comes into play, name a card and then for 1 blue, counter target spell with that name, which is really funny to do on somebody's commander if it matters to their deck. It's
wow, that's just rude.
what? It's just funny.
Just do that with Tulane.
It's so funny. Like that is top tier counterspell garbage. Like if their commander really matters.
Man, I sure can't wait to play my Relentless Rats deck.
Oh man, it would be a shame if you were playing a Persistent Practitioner's deck.
I love that deck.
I know you do.
Diplomatic Immunity is 1 and a blue. Enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities, and it can't be the target of spells or abilities.
It has hexproof. You have hexproof?
Shroud, yeah.
Shroud. Double
It's
shroud.
really funny to put on other people's Voltron commanders.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea. That's hilarious.
Oh, it's so brutal. Like you get somebody's like trying to play a Tuvasa or like a Wylith. I'm playing Rograk Arden. Yeah, exactly. Zach's Glen deck he just made. Turn 2 Diplomatic Immunity.
I would be furious. I would say F you guys and I'm leaving.
We just need a mass enchantment destruction. Duh. Everybody runs that.
Oh, I love that card. It's good. It's very good protection, but it's also very good to salt something that's important.
And I can see the baby stacks coming. The more of the baby stacks coming into play here with dueling grounds.
Just little babies. Little babies.
So 1 and Selesnya. It's an enchantment, and no more than 1 creature may attack each turn, and no more than 1 creature may block each turn.
Yeah.
Let's just slow things down.
I really want to read this next card because I have a slight little suggestion about it, if that's okay.
No.
All right,
I can't handle any criticism, and don't ever.
It's Enchanted Evening with the amazing Seb McKinnon artwork from the cool Secret Lair. It's 3 hybrid, white, blue. All permanents are enchantments in addition to their other types.
So good.
This card is amazing. One of my favorite cards to run next to it is Aura Thief. So if you don't know,
that's funny, yeah.
Aura Thief is 3 and a blue for rare. It's an illusion 2/2. Flying. When Aura Thief is put into a graveyard from play, you gain control of all enchantments.
That's funny.
I had a Bant enchantment deck that I recently took apart because with COVID, it's just been super hard to play it. But it was Rubinia's Soul Singer.
Oh my god, yes.
Literally, all I would do was steal people's stuff, copy people's stuff, sacrifice it, and steal more of their stuff with it. And that was one of my win conditions: was Enchanted Evening and Aura Thief. It was
Zach,
pretty much.
I kiss you on the mouth. That's amazing.
It's awkward because I didn't it's your deck list and it's so cool. But as soon as I saw that, I scanned through the creatures. Like, I don't see Aura Thief. I don't know, because it's one of those cards. It's really weird. It's not
I didn't know anything about that.
Me either. Well, and the other thing too is like this deck was built strictly at home.
For anyone who was watching the video, what I picked my phone up to do was screenshot that card so I can buy it today.
Yeah. Well, so how this deck was built was I literally was like, I need to build Amareth right now. And so I literally just went through like piles of cards and binders and stuff. And I was just like,
my deck.
Yeah, and one of Daniel's decks. So with the exception of the Enchanted Evening, which I actually went out and bought. But that is dope, and I will definitely be buying one today and adding it to this deck.
It goes back to our conversation earlier about how super good the Urza saga or Urza block was, and this
Is
is
it
another,
Urza's? Yeah, I love it.
it's another Urza's, it's Urza's Destiny, and it just, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I played it because I'm a degenerate.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just had to mention it, like, not to steal thunder or anything.
I
just
appreciate it. It's happening, Zach.
The next card is if you feel like you can't get away from playing red extra combats, but you want to play Bant.
Me.
I mean,
me.
Sure, you have a colossification on your creature. It's now a 26/26. It can only kill one of us.
Me.
Finest Hour. It's 2 Bant, green, white, blue, exalted. And whenever a creature you control attacks alone, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap it. After it, there's an additional combat phase.
Wow.
It's so dumb.
Bant double combat.
Yeah.
Don't ever try to tell me how to live my life. Huh?
Calm down.
That is Rafik, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Of
I was
course
going to say it's the card that needs to be in every Rafik deck. You can't build when you buy a Rafik, they just give you this card as well. They come together.
That is true.
It's the backside.
Yeah, that's something that's actually like a well-known fact.
Moto.
All the LGS. Yeah, Moto Rafik, exactly.
If you go to it and stuff, it's like the secret. It's like the secret menus at the fast food restaurants. I want the Rafik and also Finest Hour.
I want the spicy Rafik.
Yeah.
I want the Rafik extra crispy.
Do you know the
Extra
password?
crispy Rafik.
Spicy Rafik is the from the vaults Rafik.
Oh.
Just so we're clear on that one.
Extra crispy Rafik. The next is Ghostly Prison. 2 and a white. Creatures can't attack you unless they pay 2.
For each attacking creature.
Yes, not just 2.
Oh, this is also Rafik on the art.
I don't think it is.
It's not. I just wanted to say.
Okay,
that.
yeah.
I was like, what?
I was like, maybe it is. Gift of Immortality.
You know what? I don't know. I'm not here to argue with the boy. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
You said it so confident.
Yeah, I said
Gift
it
of
with
Immortality
confidence.
is a problem card.
Yeah.
2 and a white. So again, Sun Titan can bring it back. Enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Return it to the battlefield. Attach that creature at the beginning of the next end step. So you have to remove the creature twice in one turn, or else.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
It rules.
Grasp of Fate. There's no way that it's only $5 right now.
American.
Okay.
You see the little symbol in the left hand corner though?
Oh, Mystery Booster. Maybe it did.
Yeah, so that was another.
Done.
Once again, we can't talk about this enough. Commander Legends, Double Masters, and Mystery Boosters has done wonders for our community.
Well,
They
even like we were
changed the
talking about with Scroll Rack and stuff. You're not even
Mhm.
thinking about building Scroll Rack, but we have a stack of Scroll Racks from opening Commander Legends now. Like it's just cards that most people don't have sitting around to think about, right? All of them were pricey, so they were in like more dedicated decks. Now they're just in piles.
Or they just weren't index.
Yeah.
So like now they're just in our rares.
Grasp of Fate is a rough card. It is 1 double white. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until it leaves the battlefield.
So good.
It's
So
very
good.
Mhm.
It hurts me deeply.
Yeah, it was really fun. The next card is one of my absolute favorite enchantments in the game. And it's 2 and a blue for Imprisoned in the Moon. And it's enchant land, creature, or planeswalker. And the enchanted permanent loses all of its other card types and abilities, and it gains tap to add a colorless. You're
I like
welcome.
that it's enchant creature, land, or planeswalker.
Or planeswalker.
It's so frustrating to get it turned into because again, it's not like something you can replacement effect out of. It's like
Nope.
you've got to deal with this, but I Hope does this on like my Bazaar of Baghdad and stuff, like in Muldrotha, like in important stuff. She hits Field of the Dead with it. She's just a bully.
That's smart moves.
Thanks.
That's a smart lady there.
What is really
She's
funny?
pretty cool.
What's really funny as well is also turning it into like someone's Voltron commander that's full of enchantments, and then you just turn it into a land.
Yeah.
I want to read this next card because it was also in my Rabinia deck.
Okay.
It's a light
it
minefield.
rules.
Yeah, 2 white enchantment. Whenever 1 or more creatures attack, light minefield deals damage to each of those creatures equal to the number of attacking creatures.
I need this
Try to
card.
go wide.
Yeah,
Come
this
at me, Krenko.
completely
I
Yeah,
need
completely
this
puts token
so
decks
bad.
in check.
I've
and it's
never
super
seen this
cheap.
card.
Straight up, the last time that I played this deck, like somebody was trying to come at me with a bunch of Luminarch Ascension Angels, and I'm like, I mean, you can try.
Hmm.
You can
You don't-
absolutely. I
you
was
don't
just
want
like,
this.
well, I'm just like, they're like, well, I gotta get rid of the light minefield. I'm just like, yeah, but if you get rid of the light minefield, then I'm coming at you with rhinos.
That's the fun thing about this deck. Is it like it does kind of keep you in check too? But if they get rid of it, like you said, exactly,
It's worse for them to
face
get rid
the
of
Rhino
these
Storm.
things. Yeah, I'm like, either you're gonna be absolutely annihilated by rhinos, or you can let me kill you with Amareth, and it's up to you.
It's fun seeing you start to just a little stacks, just a light salt,
just a light sprinkling,
not enough that it's bad for your heart, but just
and not enough that it's bad for my friendships.
Yeah.
But
This-
A
just
light seasoning.
This
I
next
love
card.
Mirror Maid. Mirror
Yeah.
Maid
Ugh.
is I always need more Mirror Maids. They're so good.
Oh,
Card
let's
slap.
make a copy of that light mine.
Yeah. One double blue, you can have it enter as a copy of any artifact or enchantment. It's just a better copy enchantment, in my opinion,
Yes.
because it's copy artifact or enchantment.
Next card is
Yeah,
the
a budget
only,
card, definitely.
it's the only. I said I didn't go to the store. I didn't spend any money on this deck except for the $6 on the Enchanted Evening.
True.
So, it's a moat. It's not necessary.
This
so
is
You could replace it with Mages of the Moat.
this is
could-
ridiculous.
you
Easy
could
budget.
take it out and instead put in the whatever card that Zach said.
Cyclonic Rift.
No, the Aura
know.
whatever.
Yes,
Thief.
Aura Thief.
Yes, Aura Thief. So it's a moat. So it's 2 white non-flying creatures can't attack.
This
again-
is foolish. That price of
it's
this
tax.
card is ridiculous.
Because it's legends, my dude. That's the only
welcome
reason.
to the reserve list, buddy.
It's just because it's
But
None of it makes sense.
Like we said, though, you can easily change this out for Magus of the Moat that does the exact same thing, only it's a creature.
Well, you don't
and
need this card.
No.
You don't.
I
You can
literally
also,
put the card in the deck because I was like, yeah, this is good. I'm
you still
having
wanna-
fine.
if you still want to stay on theme and have a card that has the same effect, you could run Archetype of Imagination, I believe it is.
Yep.
It's CMC wise, it's a little bit more expensive, but it is a creature. It is an enchantment, and it's like all creatures your opponents control lose flying and can't gain flying. All creatures
Yeah.
you control gain flying.
Yep.
Yes, the same kind of vibe. So
Mhm.
We have Monastery Siege. I love the Khans or Dragons choice
me
cards.
too.
2 and a blue for an enchantment. Obviously, we're in enchantments. Cons, at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, then discard a card. I never choose that one. I always choose dragons with this one.
Yep.
Spells your opponents cast that target you or a permanent you control are
Yep.
2 more to cast.
Yeah, that's what you're choosing in this deck is the dragons.
Yeah, you just want people to not touch all up on your enchantments.
Also, it's dragons, buddy.
Yeah, you are it's dragons, the only obvious
I'm
choice.
the dragon lady.
I
The
really
next
like-
one. Oh, sorry.
I really like this card. I wish we had more cards like this.
Oh, they're so dope. I like.
Which one, Cons or Dragons, or the next one?
There's just 5, right?
Myth realized.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Myth Realized is really cool. So it's 1 white for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a lore counter on it. And you can pay 2 and a white to put another lore counter on it. And for 1 white, until the end of turn, Myth Realized becomes a monk avatar creature in addition to its other types and gains this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lore counters on it.
That's
It's
super
solid.
neat.
it can grow itself pretty good from turn 1 onwards.
Yep.
It can be a problem late game. It can be a really good mana sink for if you just
It's an
don't
awesome
have anything.
mana
Yeah.
sink. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
And it can be problematic enough to kill someone.
What
Yeah.
I really like is it's super innocuous, right? Like, do you really want to waste removal on a Myth Realized when when they're already playing an enchantment deck?
Like,
With
probably
playing
not.
exactly with playing as we have and being kind of familiar with enchantment decks, especially being in Bant, you're already thinking, oh, do they have a Smothering Tide? Do they have a Ghostly Prison? Do they have stuff like that or Ristic Study, stuff we really want to save the removal for? So Myth Realized is just one of those cards that can just stay under the radar and
Radar,
eventually
yeah.
kill someone. I
Well,
love
and the
stuff
other
like
thing
that.
too is that like people, there just isn't as much, and people don't run as much enchantment removal.
People
No.
don't run nearly enough removal of any
So,
kind, but yeah.
No, so, but enchantment specifically. So, burning removal on a card like that is just not worth it. So,
Well, until it's too late. Almost.
until it's too late and you're dead.
Yeah.
So I have to
Um,
say, I do enjoy Hope that you're
Yeah.
playing some group hug here
Just a little.
with
Just
a
Oath
little.
Oath of Lieges.
I just want to
Amazing.
gently hold you.
I love Oath of Lieges. Every time I play Oath of Lieges, I hear the "What does that do?"
Yep.
It's 1 and a white. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls fewer land than target opponent, that player can search for a basic land, put it into play, not tapped, and then shuffle.
It's a land
I
tax for
love it.
everyone.
It gets the game going so well. It's very good for you. And again, in decks like this, where you know that you're going to be able to dump so many things out and refill your hand so quickly,
Yeah.
it's much more problematic to let Hope have more lands.
Yes.
Alternate win con is the next one, Hope.
Oh, love it. Love it so much. It's Opalescence for 2 and 2 white for an enchantment, obviously. Each other global enchantment is a creature with power and toughness, each equal to its CMC. It's still an enchantment. All of your enchantments are creatures, and all of your things are enchantments.
This card worried me when I was
Die.
running it in my enchantment deck, because I'm just like, then it opens up my enchantments to a lot more removal because they're now creatures. So
Generally, you want to put it down when you're going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
So, like, you sit there, you hit the austere command, you destroy all creatures, 3 or less, 4 or more, and then you opalescence and open the gates. Opalescence the gates.
It's so funny because like you keep saying how you've literally built this deck at home. You didn't like get anything outside of the what was it, Enchanted Evening, and it just cracks me up because I'm like, man, that's so hard to believe. But then I remember you live with Dan.
Oh yeah, our collection.
Like you guys.
I am what is called a problem.
Our collection is what the kids call disgusting. So
they are an LGS.
We're a local game home.
yeah.
LGH.
This isn't a local game house, it's a local game home.
Oh my god, you guys are problems.
Thanks.
So right after Hope gets a little bit of group hug, she plays Overburden. Whenever a creature enters, that player returns a land they control to its owner's hand.
Which is also so funny.
Oh, I need to put this in Tulane now. I didn't know
do
there was
it.
a second one.
And then there's Propaganda, because
it is non-token. I did double check.
Yeah, it is non-token.
Whenever a player puts a non-token creature on the battlefield, that player returns it. It's still brutal.
So then Propaganda, 2 and a blue. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature that they control that's attacking you. Again,
This and Ghostly Prison, so good.
Blue Ghostly Prison. Righteous Aura is the next one. It's 1 and a white, and for 1 white, pay 2 life. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. So if somebody's going to do more than 2 damage to you, then it's worth it.
Yep.
And I've done that many a time. Let me tell you what.
Rites of Flourishing. I love Rites of Flourishing. I can never get enough.
Me too. Like, yeah, sure, it's for everybody and whatever, but like again, like I'm refilling my hand constantly. I'm putting these cards in my hand. I am drawing. I am like
You're going to benefit
gaining
more from
so
this.
much from this. So
well, a good way to look at it too is if you do the whole Aura Thief route, you're just going to get more permanents later.
exactly, they're just putting them out for me to take home.
Well, we're playing for Ante, right? I get to take all your cards.
Ante it
yeah,
up.
for sure. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's why they call her Anti-Hope.
We're adding.
Nope.
We're adding decks now.
Sigil of the Empty Throne, 3 white. Whenever you cast an enchantment, create a white angel. Love it. Super good card.
So good.
And so the next card is one that I actually liked so much. I put it in the deck twice initially. So that's a Sphere of Safety. It's 4 and a white enchantment. Creatures can attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. Good luck.
It's a problem card for sure.
I wish them the
if you have everything
luck.
out, they have to pay 28 for each creature.
Assuming that I don't have any enchantment clerics, and also assuming that I'm not making anything else enchantments. Assuming
and that you
I'm
don't have Norn's Annex Propaganda.
And I'm not making any masks.
Oh.
Yeah. So
come at me, Crater Hoof.
Just try.
You have to pay 50 to swing at me?
Just try.
They cast your well-known friend, Bane of Progress.
Actually, you know what's so funny is we got a Bane of Progress. We haven't had one in the store in a little bit, so we got a Bane. Well, because somebody traded it in from Commander Green.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I looked at my boss and I was like, why is this card here? I'm like, did somebody buy it? And he's just like, no, it just came in. I was like, it's going out.
Yeah,
Like,
mine.
I'm just gonna buy it.
Before any of us get it.
Yeah.
Bane of
Um,
Progress hurts.
A little selfish.
Were there any notable lands you wanted to talk about, Hope?
I can't
Sarah
remember.
Sanctum.
Probably like, no, she doesn't.
There's no Sarah Sanctum.
There should be.
Not.
Probably Rogue's Passage. You can bonk.
Yeah, Rogue's Passage is pretty sweet, just for the unblockable. But other than that, it's mostly just normal.
Look at those sweet, sweet expeditions in here. Sea of Clouds, Sea Chrome Coast.
Real talk, the expedition versions of those are so affordable. It's ridiculous.
That's literally what we were talking about yesterday. I built that Glen deck and I picked
Isn't
up a
that
Secret
dumb?
Coast. Yeah. I remember when I was really trying to keep up with Standard when during the Scars block, and getting these lands were so expensive, and now like I have this super beautiful Seachrome Coast and I paid $7 for it yesterday. At
I
my
say probably like
LPS.
$6 or something. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So cool.
10 out of 10 would recommend getting expeditions.
But yeah, that's Hope's baby Stax deck.
How do you
So-
feel?
I love it.
What would you? Because I've not got to play against this deck, and I've not seen this deck play. Obviously, Hopes. What would you consider your strengths and weaknesses for this deck?
Strengths, leave me alone. Weaknesses, any enchantment removal. Literally any enchantment removal absolutely annihilates
A
me.
Merciless Eviction would just wreck your day.
Yeah.
Hope
So
will pack up and go home.
yeah. Well, yeah, I would. No, I would never. But it's just, it really, really hurts. Enchantment removal absolutely destroys this deck. But again, not a lot of people play enough.
Do you know what you should throw in here?
Hmm.
Wheel of Sun and Moon.
I don't remember what it does because somebody buys them all.
Whenever a permanent would go to your graveyard, it goes to the bottom of your deck instead.
That would be really fun.
What is? Oh
then
my
I can't
god.
That's like my one trick
Yeah,
to
Brian, you
getting
gotta
around
replenish one.
removal. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
Brian, I'm trying to just replenish everything.
I had that too. Sometimes they blow up the Wheel of Sun and Moon.
It's really fun to throw out all of these things because you're overdrawing, and then bam, replenish.
Yeah, that's true too.
Oh man, there's a card that I wanted to suggest because I had my Bant enchantment deck and it made me think of it, but I cannot think of what it's called. I want to say I think it's 2 green, and it's a sorcery from Innistrad. It's a rare. You choose a card type and you return from your graveyard all cards that share that type, and then it has flashback.
It's like creeping something.
I can see everyone's brains turning. What is this
Creeping.
card?
Creeping Renaissance, I think.
Yep, Creeping Renaissance. 3
Yeah.
green.
The
It's a rare out
Renaissance
of Innistrad. You choose a permanent type, return all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand, and then flashback for 5 green. That would be super helpful if you're worried about one of the weaknesses obviously being enchantment removal. Like as long as it's not exiled, that's a good way to get him back into hand.
Or
And with
especially
the
I think Hope deals with weaknesses the same way I do, and it's by killing whatever player can do that first.
Dang, you're not wrong. Wow, I've never been more called out in my entire life.
Hence
But
why
that is
Daniel
true.
died first the last time.
we don't
Well,
talk about it enough, but player removal is a form of removal, whether it's
Player
salty or
removal
not.
is, dare I say, the most effective form of removal.
True.
You don't need to edit your decks for that.
if someone has the chance to have a Merciless Eviction, you kill them as fast as you can. In this.
Yeah, if you're playing Orzhov, you're out, buddy.
No mercy in the dojo, buddy.
That's what I call a merciless eviction. Am I right?
Yeah, and if you know that they
Hate
run,
myself.
if
That
they
was
run a
painful,
Bane of
Hope.
Progress, you've got to go. No, I enjoyed it, Hope.
Yeah,
I support
I
it.
still suck.
Anyways, Hope, tell everyone where they can find all our content.
Well, they can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Into the 99. They can also find us on YouTube, where we post all of our podcasts and all of our gameplay videos. Speaking of gameplay videos, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we stream on Twitch. Zach is also working on some really cool new content for our YouTube, and I'm really excited to have everybody check that out.
Yeah, Zach and Benson with their Parallel Thoughts.
They
Parallel
rule.
thoughts. 2
Parallel
decks into
thoughts.
one.
Also check our into the99.com website. We have some awesome articles and information from all of our team, as well as our partner content creators. So check it out, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
See ya.